there's been a number of people out there getting charged with fraud, claiming to have some kind of miracle cure to cure COVID or something else. I'm glad these people go to jail because they are quite disgusting people.
New at 6, an update to a years-long Eyewitness News investigation into the Church of Bleach. The family behind a bogus church that peddled a toxic bleach as a miracle cure here in Southern California and around the world was convicted today on federal fraud charges in Miami.
1, 2, 3, or as they say in Spanish, uno, dos, tres.
In happier times, Archbishop Mark Grennan swigged his so-called miracle cure out of a wine glass.
You've heard of 50 Shades of Grey? There's 50 Shades of MMS, let me tell you.
Today, Grennan and his 3 adult sons are facing years in prison, just convicted on federal fraud charges for marketing this poisonous bleach concoction known as MMS as a cure for 95% of the world's diseases.
They called it sacramental cleansing water. Gross. It's even worse when you have like religious people peddling fake cures because they prey upon other religious people uh, and those that are desperate for like hope and stuff. Nothing but con artists and people that just deserve to be in jail.
I started curing diabetes, AIDS, cancer, elephantitis, dengue.
Eyewitness News has been investigating the Grennan family since 2016 when we went undercover to this seminar on MMS in Costa Mesa.
Lung cancer, he wrote me, he said, it coughed up a tumor. The doctor was flabbergasted. The tumors are gone.
In federal court this week, prosecutors called the Grennans conmen and snake oil salesmen who used their fake church to sell MMS as a religious sacrament.
Though, if you want to get away with selling fake cures, just do what other people realized you can do. Tell people that you can donate to their church. They'll pray for you, and if nothing happens, just send in more money. It's a more lucrative way of selling snake oil without actually having to sell a product. You just sell an invisible product.
Mark Grennan has freely admitted their Genesis 2 Church of Healing to avoid arrest.
So I said, let's call it the Genesis 2 Church. And we said, you got to do this, folks, or you're going to go to jail. You can't arrest us from doing one of our sacraments.
But the Grennans were arrested in 2020.
Wow, so he was like, purposely trying to avoid any kind of liability by becoming a church. That's pretty wild. I mean, I know there's a number of people who have been able to con the government using a church as something, but again, they're selling an invisible product. Don't sell a real product.
As the pandemic swept across the world and the family falsely promoted MMS as a cure to the coronavirus.
The coronavirus is curable. Do you believe it? You better.
2 of the Grennan sons were arrested after a raid on the family's Florida property where federal agents seized thousands of bottles of MMS and stacks of cash. This photo shown to jurors this week shows rodent droppings on the floor of the shed where the Grennans were producing their so-called cure.
Oh, gross. So their cure probably had a lot of rat fecal matter in it. This is all about business. Nothing more, nothing less. And that's what religion is. It's a money-making business venture. People invest in a church, and they gain themselves a congregation, which gives them money all the time.
Then Mark Grennan and a 3rd son, Joseph, had fled the country, but were extradited last year. The Miami jury watched Mark Grennan claim MMS had cured this woman of lung cancer.
He has a testimony that she had lung cancer.
I did the MMS, then I did the inhalation, and the enema in the douche.
Members of the jury stifled laughter at times, but visibly recoiled when they passed around and smelled bottles of MMS that had been shipped to the undercover federal agent. So just imagine what it tasted like.
I don't taste anything at all of chlorine dioxide. Do you?
No, it's smooth.
It's very smooth.
The Grennans acted as their own attorneys at trial, but then refused to participate and remained silent for the 2-day court trial. The jury deliberated.
Well, how smart is that? Hey, we're gonna be our own lawyers, and then just say nothing. I guess they thought that would be a solid defense.
For about 5 minutes before returning the guilty verdicts late this afternoon.
Hello, I'm